Hello everybody, XJoe81X, and on the tubes today I'm going to be replacing a dimmer in my home. Why? Because it does this. Okay, it took a little bit. Let's try this one. Okay. See how soft these two are? See that? Oh, did you hear that? Let's see if I can mimic that.
What is it doing?
On. You lower the dimmer. Raise the dimmer. Okay, did I show you that enough? So now I'm going to replace it. I added these three switches because I added sconces. The center light had a fan of where the chandelier was. The sconces are on the left of the window and on the right of the window. And then this light was original to the house, and JK18 gave me one of those 300-watt light bulbs that are still in there to this day, 10 full years. Show you the sconces. Regular candelabra based, down, up, down, up, off. And now we're going to get right back to changing this. Now what I did was, or what I should have done, is we're going to find out how I wired this. What you're supposed to be doing is in a dimmer, there's supposed to be two wires and a ground wire right here. All three of these wires could be connected to one side, which is a neutral, and one of them could be connected to each switch. So as I take this plate off and remove this center, let's see if I wired it correctly when I first moved in. Now this is going to be a different dimmer. This is what I had. This was new old stock. I'm going to be putting this in the middle. It goes up, it goes down, but when you want to shut it, you have to click it. I took it off in order to clean it. Let's put it back together. There she is. I cleaned it. And yes, these pieces come off because I just showed you. You just put a little flathead in there. Be very careful. It comes off with this little piece and you could clean it. So this is it. Up, down, and then click. So this is different, and all three of these are the same. So obviously the one that's different could stay in the middle. So now let's take it apart. Standard flathead screws. I don't know if you noticed that this is a little yellow. Right. So because this is yellow, that could come off. And that could come on. Whoops. Now it's yellow. Hello. How are you? And it also smells like electronics. The smell-o-vision is technically off. But if you could trust my comment, it smells, yeah, spicy. All right, sometimes they get stuck. I have a little void on top for no apparent reason. Let's kind of pop it out. So I did do it correctly. Well, the first part. See these tabs? If you open up a brand new one from a store, it comes with instructions and it comes with a booklet. The booklet states that these tabs mean something. They're almost like heat sinks. And for every 100 watts, so I think these are 600 watt dimmers. So every time you take a tab off, that becomes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 watts. I have personally installed in other people's homes throughout the years as an electrician without even thinking of taking these off. What they'll do is they'll make the dimmer fail. So I ended up just leaving every single one on. So it looks like the chandelier is the one on top. This sits behind it and this sits behind it. So it wouldn't be a JK, I'm sorry. Oh, listen to me. It wouldn't be a Joe 81X video without using the drill. All right. Oh, I didn't ground it. Why is it not ground? Because the box is grounded. Yes, it is not code, but if a box is metal and this is metal, technically it's grounded. If you have a problem with that, find another channel. Okay, let's see if I could just remove this without a problem. And the problem being touching things. Okay. So we have one piece here. Here we are. So it looks like I have it wired correctly where each switch has its own thing. Yeah. So one is going to be hot and one is going to be the switch. The red is going to be the chandelier and this is going to be constant power. If you've never done this before, I recommend you very politely find the circuit and shut it off. I am not responsible for you electrocuting yourself. Electrocuting? Well, excuse me, let's go to commercial break and look at the cue cards. Electrocuting? Oh. Electrocuted? Electrocuted. Well, I installed it correctly. Oh! Well, it's broken anyway. Electrocuted. This is a little close. A little bit closer than I like to because the other switches are grounded. So just be careful to not touch the switch, the tool to the switches because it's grounded. Okay. It doesn't tell you which is which. I don't think it matters, but I'm going to install it the way I had it. So the right was power. You want to make sure the switch is off. Move this out of the way. You want to straighten the wire out if you can. Let's take this. This looks like it's the other switch because it's stranded. Let's just make a nice twist here. Let's cut off a little bit. Okay. And let's bring the power back in. Be careful. Okay, it's just a little, it has to bend. It's only 120 volts. I'm trying to put this so if, you know. and give it a tug. I like to tap it, make sure the switch is off. Otherwise it would pop and show you that the switch is on. Again, some people just put it like that. No, twist it a little bit. Okay, you'll thank me in the long run. Take the tip off. Put the tip in the garbage, not on the floor. Close the gap here. Put it on. Give it a nice tug. We're going to test it. Turns on. Turns on. No popping. But you got to know that it has to go down to that level. I'll show you the light when it's installed. But let's put it back on. Put it back in. So we just reverse the process. We just leave the ground there just in case we want to use it another time for another switch. Put this back in. Very careful that these sides don't cut into the wire. So I'll just put this right back. Then on top, which is the perfect one, perfect. Start the bottom, top too. Screw in. Line it up. Okay. Double check the switch plate before you put the screws on to make sure that it sits the way it did before. Sits a little proud, so I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Sometimes you have no choice. Sunk in a teeny bit. I think that's completely perfect. I will not be touching this, and I'll be putting the screws back. Yeah, I'm not going to touch this. I could bring this out again, but I think it's fine. You can clean this as you want. You could clean it with soap and water. You could clean it with just water. You could not clean it and put it back exactly the same. You could take a toothpick and clean these little grooves right here. It's only as good as the installation, just like a lot of things. House, car, roof, life. If the installation is not correct, or if the installation is shoddy, then you're going to get, different outcomes. If this was wired incorrectly, the video would have been longer because I would have had to have possibly removed more of the switch. But due to the fact that I installed it correctly, meaning each switch got its own wire, it worked out. I did not know I put the chandelier switch on top until I opened up this switch box, but for video purposes, now I know. Just double check. Yep, too tight. One more. That's too tight. Now you can put the screw that way, or you can put it that way. I was taught to put it up, straight up and down. It was almost like a trademark. You go to someone's house and you say, hey, who was here? So now I'm going to show you that it works. Okay, here we go. Straight up, straight down, and then I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm on the bottom left. I do not like these dimmers only because sometimes you instantly do this. That's not really what you should be doing. You should be lowering these dimmers halfway, and then you should be turning them on, and then you should be raising them to the necessary brightness. You don't want to shoot 120 volts straight to the light bulbs. So with something like this, yes, you can do this, and you might wear out the light bulbs or the filament or the dimmer. But if you consciously know it's your dimmer, it's your house, you could just hit it with your thumb, maybe like this, bring it up. And if you lower it and don't hit the switch, it will stay on. I don't know if you could see it. I could see it very slightly because it's sunny out. You could see, I'll show you the filament. And then when it's all the way low, the camera might not show it. So that is how I replace a dimmer in my house. Your house might be different. Your house might be semi the same, but that is how I replace a dimmer that I installed 8 to 10 years ago. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.